Hello everybody and welcome back to Expedition Homestead. I hope you all are having a fantastic winter so far. We just got our first little bit of real accumulated snow, so that was great to see. I don't mind if it's cold, but cold without snow, that's just not as much fun. Of course, the kids love getting outside in the snow. We do too, so it's always great to see. Plus, it's just beautiful outside. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy today's video. We need all of the support we can get. We want to make this thing as big as possible throughout the years. We are on our expedition to our homestead. We are almost there. I can just sense it. We've got a few years to go until we have a larger operation of several acres. So I am just so excited and feeling so blessed that we have that in our lives. And it's all thankful to you guys. We couldn't do it without you. So like I said, if you're new, please consider subscribing. We'd be so thankful. So in today's video, it's been a while since we posted here on the channel, just about 30 days. It is the holiday season. We have 3 kids at home, ages 4, 2, and 7 months. So we are so busy as parents, and we've got all sorts of different birthday events and holiday events that we've had to go to, and just keeping family time in mind, we just haven't had time to make a video. That's the first time that it's happened this year, and in fact I think the first time in about 5 years that we went more than a few weeks without posting. I don't mind because I understand the importance of family, which brings me to why we're making today's video. Sometimes life gets busy. Life gets hard, life gets rough. We've got to focus on so many other things. Sometimes our plants get a little bit neglected. So I'm going to be talking about 3 of my favorite low maintenance, easy to care for plants. I've talked about them in the past on the channel, and I've been growing them for many years. These are my top 3 based off of various reasons. But the biggest thing is that these can be forgotten about for several weeks. Up to a month, and really most of the time you're not going to see any negative side effects from that. So if you've got a crazy schedule and you miss some sort of maintenance, watering or a fertilization or anything like that, no fret, your plants will be just fine. Without further ado, let's take a look at our first nomination. This is a Sansevieria, or mother-in-law's tongue. One of the first houseplants that I've bought was a Sansevieria, and I've kept growing them for many reasons. Number 1 is going to be its ease of care. This is a variegated Sansevieria. They come in all sorts of shapes and colors as well. For instance, this dark Sansevieria right there inside that I have growing with the English ivy, that's just a non-variegated Sansevieria. I'm sure it has some other name to it, but just giving you an example of the different colors you could get. I've also propagated a lot of Sansevieria in my time, and I gotta tell you what, they are just so much fun to grow. If you are doing propagations, little tip, propagate them with the rhizome. Don't do leaf propagations on Sansevieria. It's just gonna take a long time compared to dividing at the rhizome. You're gonna have a 10x growth rate compared to taking a cutting off of the leaf. Now these Sansevieria, they're easy to grow. I talked about that already. But another good thing about them is that they will start to wrinkle up a little bit if they've gone a long period of time without watering. I mean, usually I don't see my Sansevieria wrinkle up till about 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks. I really try and water my Sansevieria every 2 weeks with the rest of my plants except for my cacti. But if you miss a watering, they're gonna do just fine. These plants are so resilient to drought compared to a lot of other house plants that you might have or might be looking into. Sansevieria are also going to be a low requirement for fertilizer, and they really don't require too much sun. They don't need a direct light, really just a bright indirect light inside your home in, say, an east, south, or west facing window. Larger window is preferred, and then keeping the plant down low so those rays of sun are able to get to it. This plant is going to do wonderful in your home, and I hope you give it a try if you haven't already. All right, our next plant on the list is a super common plant, and that is pothos. Pothos or pothos, however you pronounce it, they're great plants, easy to care for, and it's another fun one to propagate. Super easy to propagate as well. You can take cuttings of these leaves, they'll grow in no time, and you can fill out entire pots just like this here. Both of these are pothos, and then we have another one over here, which is a golden pothos. Same with that big one up here, that's a golden pothos. You get a really classic look with pothos for indoor houseplants. And again, just like Sansevieria, you can find several different varieties of them. And just like the Sansevieria, the pothos will give you some signs if you have underwatered it. The leaves will start to curl over. But be warned, they will also do this if you're overwatering. So if you've got a pot that has drainage holes, keep in mind if it's a terracotta pot, that's going to dry out quicker. If it's like a glazed pot, then that's not going to dry out as quick. Generally, if you check every 2 weeks with your finger, see if it's still moist, 2 knuckles down. If you feel moisture in the soil, or if you get a soil moisture meter, poke that in there, see if you're good or not. If it feels pretty dry after those 2 weeks, you're going to water these plants. Pothos, Sansevieria, as we talked about, and also our third nominee, which is the ZZ plant. I absolutely love the look that our ZZ plants give us in our indoor gardens. They provide a deep, luscious color with some interesting foliage as well. If you have a ZZ plant, keep in mind that there's an old saying that says, first year they sleep, second year they creep, and third year they leap. That is so true, because this ZZ plant that we have is just getting into its third year, just about 3.5 years. And we didn't see a whole lot of growth from it for those first 2 years. But now on this third year, it has thrown out like 4 or 5 different shoots, which are anywhere from 5 to 12 inches, 15 inches even, higher than the original sets that were on the plant when we bought it. So it definitely leaped in that third year. Now, when it comes to propagation, I love mentioning propagation when it comes to any of these houseplants, if you haven't realized that already. The ZZ plant is more of a tricky one to propagate. You're gonna wanna divide it, some larger chunks of it. You're not gonna wanna do a leaf propagation with these. They are going to take forever unless you have absolutely ideal conditions, you know, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit with a high level of humidity. If you've got it growing in a separate case that you can control that environment, then you're going to do just fine propagating it with leaves. But if you've just put a cutting into your home somewhere and it's just, let's say 68 to 72 degrees during the year, and you're just giving it at the regular watering, it's going to take months and months and months until you have a viable plant that's actually starting to grow for you. So a little bit longer on the propagation side with ZZ plant. That being said, I absolutely love it, and that's why it made the top 3 with these others here. So if you have not tried any of them, I encourage you all to give it a go. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Coming up next, I'm probably going to do like a Q&A video or another indoor houseplant tour, a more in-depth one, giving you all the stories behind our plants, how long we've grown them, where we bought them, how we've propagated them and experimented with them in the garden here, because we're all about experimentation when it comes to our indoor houseplants. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you've not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We pump out all sorts of content indoors and outdoors here in Wisconsin throughout the entire year. Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next episode.